Alright, like I said, guys, I tried to upping the music a little bit. People were saying it was way too quiet before, so hopefully this is a bit better. If I overcorrected, please, by all means, let me know in Twitch chat. For now, we walk into game number 2. This is a best-of-5 warm-up show match, gratefully and graciously played by these two players. I'm Rifkin, joined by Zombie Grub, and spawning in the lower left corner of the map, the yellow Protoss player from Ally Esports, Jagelius.
In the bottom right, playing for my insanity, it is the purple Zerg, Pengwin.
Alright, so this is, yeah, it kind of sucks to be down in a series. The advantage of the way this works today, though, guys, it is loser's pick. And I do want to remind everybody, you might be like, wait, Frost is from this season's ladder pool. Well, they are keeping it for Season 2 as well, so don't worry. The Pengwin didn't pick a cheesy cheater map or anything. To list off all the maps today real quick, just as Pengwin meanders on over here with the scouting, we got Alter Z, Merry-Go-Round, Frost, Habitation Station, King Sejong Station, Overgrowth, New Polaris, Rhapsody, and Waste Station. So we're going to get to see some good new maps. We're going to see a couple classic old maps as well. And, ooh, bit of a worker scuffle here.
That probe would have won. Why did he pull back?
That's what I was just thinking, but you know what? Drones are OP with regen, so maybe he was worried about that. I don't know.
I don't know. But Pengwin, that was actually a really late scout from Pengwin. I guess he wanted to really see if he was going for a Forge Fast Expand again. I mean, he's saying like at 10 or something. And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot about Jagelius. I don't know if he's known as a cheesy player or not, but
well,
you always have to be worried about that. You know, it's always on the back of your mind, like there's the potential of a cannon rush in any game versus Protoss. Doesn't matter how good or bad they are.
Yeah, and he did get the Forge first, so Pengwin was right to go ahead and check that and make sure to get the pool first as well. Although it was kind of, you know, a little bit later. It was better than, you know, a hatch first and then that probe back there. And the probes is going to find Pengwin's base finally last. Not really much worry of cannon rush.
Yeah, if you're really getting dedicated to this, you should send out that second probe just to guarantee you get behind the middle lines in time. Actually, I know you missed it on Monday. Go for StarCraft. Stardust, Pengwin's teammate, was cannon rushing all day, and he got to the finals and he won. It was pretty ridiculous.
More like cheese dust, am I right?
Right. Well, actually, worth noting, the finals wasn't where he cannon rushed, but he still cheesed out the finals anyways. But no, it's cannon rushing. It can be a very dangerous thing, and we kind of talk about it lightly. But even then, the annoyance of it is the fact that it's really hard to stop for Zerg players who are unprepared. But that being said, did not happen this game, and Pengwin is safe sailing for now as he takes his third. Taking a third early as a Zerg player too, it's got a lot of pros and cons, but definitely more pros than cons. Larva production is the biggest thing, of course, and if there's no Overlord, Jagelius may just throw down a pylon.
Yeah, I mean, one pylon and a cannon.
It's a low investment, but you know Lings are coming out soon, so it's kind of, there's some players who are willing to do it, there's some that won't, and it looks like Jagelius is just going to play it safe, and Pengwin checking up here anyways.
Yeah. It's always good to do that. I mean, he could have had that down like a long time ago, waiting for the hatch to go down. I mean, doing it now would have seemed kind of pointless, but it also messes up his build. I think we sometimes forget that when they put down cannons and pylons, it always looks like they're, you know, doing something for absolutely free, but it actually messes up their build quite a bit.
Yo, even if it's just something simple like worker harass, and this is coming from the voice of a Terran player, like the smallest things in this game can really wreck you.
God.
It's like, I need 3 SCVs to build a barracks? Okay, then.
Yeah, or if you know, they snipe the one below the command center, and you think you put another one on, and you look back, and it's just sitting next to it.
Yeah,
like, you bastard.
Like 5 minutes later, you're like, why is my command center? Aw, son of a... Okay, well, we got a Zell coming across now. Pengwin does not have enough links to really deal with this. He's got 4 more on the way, but changing it up a little bit from last game, Jagelius again going to go with the Stargate, and again kind of putting in a cooler position that is scouted. Again, we see Pengwin's saying again way too much, again. But we see the Overlord over here just kind of chilling for the time being, and there's no way it's really going to poke in anytime soon to see this. And there's no second Overlord on the other side of the base either. Ooh, really nice spot from the Zealot, by the way.
First
Pengwin didn't really control that correctly, although he didn't lose any lings, so never mind, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he did. Two did.
Oh, he did? Okay.
2 little ling-alongs.
I was like, that would have been really impressive, but yeah, should have put some behind him. Anyways.
It is possible to lose no links to that, but of course it takes a lot of precision. But I kind of cute. We got the Phoenix commit, so Jagelius gonna play this in a very classical fashion, where you open with the Phoenix, most likely get the Colossus out to follow, and that's gonna really force Pengwin to go for Hydralisks. But unlike days of old, where this sort of bait and switch strategy was really powerful, Hydros, I feel they don't. You always want to get Vipers. Vipers are gonna be like your end game awesome mode thing to have, right? But Hydralis with that attack speed buff recently, they're so good. Just in and of themselves, it's no longer as big of a necessity to complement them with, say, Corruptors or Vipers. I mean, obviously you will want to eventually if Colossus are out, but it's not like you do or die.
I think just in general, it's a lot more powerful than it used to be in like Wings of Liberty. Not just because of the speed boost, but I think also because of just everyone getting a lot better.
Yeah, well, everyone's had a lot more practice with Hydralis now. They're so used to using them to fend off the Immortal Sentry all-ins. I mean, like, let's be honest, you didn't really see a lot of fast Hydralis back in Wings of Liberty.
No.
It wasn't a thing.
You tried, you honestly tried, but then you went like Roach, Hydra, Corruptor. The handling was really poor. I mean, those days were like, ugh, they were so poor. But yeah, no, you're owing it. He's saving the Phoenixes.
Penguin's not scared of any of this. So with his Spire, I don't like this move out of him. Now, there is still, okay, if he goes Mutalisk, guys, if he's going to dedicate to his tech path, he can still make this work. He can go Mutalisk Corruptor, which is actually incredibly effective versus some Protoss players. I don't know how Penguin's control of it can be, but we've seen Bly make Puck look terrible while using it before in the past, and I hate to reference that, but I mean, Bly he does it best on a regular basis.
Okay, the Overseer finally went in, but as the Phoenixes came out too, so... He scouted it pretty much at the same time he lost all his Overlords. He's throwing down Spore Crawlers, you know, really fast. Realizes this target opener.
I like that he's not being too frugal with them either. 2 at each base is the necessity of what you need to really stop Phoenixes dead in their tracks. But as predicted, we got the Robo Bay coming up next. Penguin does see this, so he knows Colossus will be the follow-up. Does he still dedicate to the air tech is going to be the big question. He's also supply blocked right now. He's not making any Overlords.
He has to. He only lost like 5. I mean, these Phoenixes were a complete surprise to Penguin. They were stocked up where usually you're very used to the first one going after.
Oh, no, what is this?
Well, I think what he scouted the base, and Jagelius is going for an attack, I believe, with at least 1 Colossus.
But 9 Spine Crawlers is not even the answer to that. I mean, I guess Phoenixes can't lift them up, which is always nice, but...
It's the only thing you can do, I suppose. You know, he's not even getting the Colossus. He's getting Immortals.
And Penguin's going to go Muta Corruptor. He's investing in the air tech still, and he did this deliberately after seeing the Phoenixes. I don't know if I like this choice or not.
Well, let's not forget that he did see that Robotics Bay, so he's assuming, like, well, I'll just get Corruptors because they're going to be useful against everything. But now he's at a problem where is he gonna get Mutalisk? Like, are those gonna come up on the tab? And if he does, he doesn't have enough gas or money to really get a lot to like deal with a ground army. But he also doesn't have Roaches, which are gonna be very helpful against that, or Hydralisk.
And the problem with the Spine Crawler wall as well, it only covers the natural base. It leaves his 3rd really exposed, and that's the downside. Penguin knows this too, so he's actually pulling his drones back from the 3rd.
I think it's preemptive. He really expected an attack that was coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. I mean, Jagelius actually didn't even get Colossus. In fact, he's getting a Fleet Beacon, I guess, for the upgrade for the Phoenixes, although Penguin is actually not getting Mutas.
Well, the Mutalists I think are going to come later. The Corruptors are for now because he knows his Mutalists would flock out like 4 at a time and get picked off by the Phoenixes because he doesn't have the Spore Crawler coverage to keep them safe.
He still has, I mean, he has 2 at each base, but...
Okay, we got air weapon upgrades coming up. We got a Fleet Beacon, so we'll probably see Indian Pulse Crystals come out shortly, which makes this even worse for Penguin as the game goes on. You know, at this point, too, you're supposed to be able to start dancing and tangoing with this. The reality is, though, Penguin's army supply, it's lacking in a big way. And,
yeah.
Oh, let's actually get 1 Phoenix here. Not bad.
Yeah.
The comeback is real.
It's just Penguin really getting blindsided by those Phoenixes and also reading the situation wrong, actually, as he, you know, went in with that Overseer and thought, okay, he's going to do a follow-up attack, you know, because a lot of the times when you don't use your Phoenixes for, like, their Graviton beams, you can, you know, expect an attack.
This was a really ballsy move with those Corruptors. There could have been a lot of Stalkers waiting for them here. And if that had been the case, that would have been suicide.
Yeah. As it is, I mean, he gets a Phoenix and loses a Corruptor in the process. We're going to get a Phoenix, I don't think, but... It's just, it's already looking pretty bad for Penguin. He has all these Spine Crawlers so that the 3rd will never be harassed. That's great. I need to meet us. It's just, oh god,
I mean,
it's the wrong time.
The Lings are going to be kind of an interesting buffer if he throws them at, say, the Stalkers underneath this, but the reality is, guys, what Penguin's doing is meant to tangle with the Phoenixes really well, and it certainly will get his fair share of damage in here, but if he loses any of these Corruptors, it becomes, oh god, he's not going to have a lot of economy. I mean, his bank is looking pretty good right now, but that's because he's saving it for more Mutalisks. Once he spends that, if he loses these Corruptors, even replacing the Corruptors is going to be difficult.
I really don't like the decision to go into Mutas. Like, you're kind of forced into it because you're like, what was my plan? I already got the Spire and like, geez, but he has double Stargate and Anti-Impulse Crystals. Usually it's okay if they're still getting these things while the Mutas are out and you're trying to harass, but if they literally already have them ready to go,
why
are pumping out 2 at a time.
I actually, the Muta Corruptor build is not bad. I actually kind of like that he went for it. The problem is, I don't like they didn't double Spire behind this. He really needs those armor upgrades on the Corruptors to make them almost immune to Phoenix damage. For those unaware, Corruptors come with a really high base armor. 2 base armor is a lot in StarCraft 2. Each of these Phoenixes, it hits for like 5, well 6 with that upgrade. But the idea is, even though they hit twice, the Corruptors are supposed to take almost no damage, while the Mutalisks kind of use them as a pivot point to fly around and do what they can. But Pengwin doesn't have those armor upgrades. They're just now on the way, and there's that second Spire. Thank you, Pengwin. And now I'm starting to like this a little bit better. Because the reality is, as this gets further in, we all know, we've all seen it, Mutalisks can just wreck Protoss ground forces if given the opportunity. But in this scenario, in this situation, it's not the ground he has to worry about, of course, it's the Phoenixes.
Yeah. He's taking a hidden base up to the top right, which I really like. I also would like if he took, took just more bases in general. As technically, when you go Muta, I mean, obviously you're going to get a lot of gas because you're going to want a humongous Muta flock. But also, you're supposed to have the map even if Phoenixes are out because they can't kill hatcheries, right? Jagelius actually was kind of late on the Twilight Council. He has a double Stargate, which is really, really good against what he's doing. But he's also going to add in, Archons to really make sure that, he doesn't run into a bunch of Corruptors and they actually win the fight, which sometimes happens.
So what's going to be really key here too, guys, is the range on these Phoenixes, it has to be precise. Even with the Anti-Impulse Crystal upgrade, as we see, the Corruptors have range of 6, and the Phoenixes will have range of 7. Oops, let me just click one. There we go. So what's going to happen here is, they already outranged the Mutalisks in a big way, but the Corruptors, oh, not really the Corruptors, and as we see, if you've got enough of them, well, they don't do bonus damage versus Phoenixes, and Phoenixes don't do bonus damage versus Corruptors. If you got enough of either, you'll do a ton of damage.
I'm really surprised that Jagelius isn't, like, just skyrocketing 200 and pushing out. Because his air army, yeah, the Corruptors doing a good job against it, not gonna lie. But, like, the ground army of Pengwin...
Oh, what are these Mutalisks? You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, the Overlord's gonna get picked off again, too. Somewhat for free. Penguin's struggling to get his supply cap up this game, but 4 more Overlords already on the way. And this is looking pretty rough. He's moved out to try... I like the attempt to move out with the Mutalisks. He was trying to do some damage, but... unfortunately, not going to be the case. This hidden base, I don't even know if this will necessarily save him from this game, because the reality is, even with a better economy, if you're behind against Phoenixes, you're going to be behind against Phoenixes.
His only hope is to really demolish the Phoenix Force with hopefully maybe a fungal, as he did his Infestation Pit.
Oh, that would be really nice, yeah.
Yeah, and then be able to take on the ground army, because ground army versus ground army, it's not going to happen. I mean, Penguin's completely devoting himself to air, and no ling upgrades or anything. And actually, that's a mainly Stalker army, and they do have Blink now. Well, actually, they will have Blink, I guess, by the time the attack happens.
Well, Pengwin looks like he may actually get some damage done this time as he gets around the Phoenixes and circumvents them, but if this comes down to a base trade, technically he can outrace Jagelius, because Jagelius's Phoenixes can't shoot down, but the Stalkers have got so much damage with them, and combined with these Immortals, Penguin's gonna have to fall back. There's no way he dedicates fully to this. Oh, but if he snipes Blink, if he focuses Blink, that could be huge. He's focusing on the air upgrades.
I actually would have liked the Blink better.
Yeah, focusing the Blink I think would have been more devastating. But while this goes on, Penguin's doing what he can for damage, trying to cut the production of his opponent, but while this is happening, there's so many Stalkers which are now equipped with Blink, which means they can actually deal with the Mutalisks. So even if every single one of these Phoenixes die, which honestly with good control they shouldn't, Penguin's still got a huge Stalker army that he's going to have to contend with, and I don't think he can. The Spine Callers were taken out like they were nothing at all. So he's going to snipe off this base, move on towards the natural, and yes, again, we got that base in the top right, but it's going to be somewhat irrelevant if Pengwin can't win with these Mutalisks, and I think his focus is on the wrong part of the game right now.
Yeah, and the Phoenixes are even getting, free mutas, pretty much, as the Corruptors are just a little slow. And that's, he really doesn't have that big of a muta flock, honestly. It's actually mostly Corruptors that are making up that air army.
Yeah, it's starting to dwindle. Corruptors are starting to dance to the Phoenixes, but the Phoenixes have taken us so many Corruptors, and this is, again, not a scenario you ever really want to be in as a Zerg player, because his armor upgrades, they're completing now. It's just a little too late. He is making a new Spire here in the top right, so going to try in his best to recover from this, but Jagelius is looking really strong right now. He may have lost his natural base, but he's retained enough of the main, and his army supply is just massive compared to that of Penguin's.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, continue.
He can keep that third alive for a very long time. And he's starting to warp in every single reinforcement that he can into that third, as well as getting a bunch of cannons.
Base is being cleaned up. Yeah, I think one of the keyest things for Pengwin, and you brought it up, and I'll praise you for this, is the fact that fungal growth really could have turned this game around for him at some point. But unfortunately, he decided to go with the more brute force tactic, which again, it's not a bad strategy, guys. Corruptor Mutalisk does work versus this, but not in the scenario and not the pace at which Pengwin played it out this game. So Jagelius is just kind of corralling him here. It's almost like watching sheep get flocked in by the shepherd. There's so many cannons down too. Pengwin can't break this base. Look at, there's so many cannons. Cannon defense 2014.
I've seen more.
Top left, another base coming down for Pengwin. But at this point, you just gotta kind of like, I love you, Pengwin, but come on, buddy.
Yeah, there's actually it's really hard to call something amazing happen to put Pengwin back in this game. But that would have been the fungals, and that would have been about 5 minutes ago. Even if he had fungals now, I don't think it would matter. The ground army itself.
It's the ground army, yeah. It's not even if every single Phoenix was gone for the game right now. There's A, too many cannons, so Pengwin, there's no way for him to perform a counterattack of any variety, not even with Lings. And B, the Mutalists certainly aren't going to get anything done. But the Stalker count in the sentries, there's so many Guardian Shields available. Stalkers blink very aggressively. Jagelius has scouted the top left base as well. Pengwin giving it his all. GG.
Yeah.
Alright, well, game number 2 gonna go to Jagelius, but it's not over yet. It's a best of 5. It's first to 3 wins, guys, so Pengwin's got another map pick under his belt. Fingers are crossed he can rock and roll.